back to another episode of Faith Talk with your host, Akriba, and it's always a pleasure to be in your company. Tonight, I don't have a long introduction, but I have a very special lady who came tonight to affirm all of us, and I'm just so excited to have her with me tonight. Welcome, Raquel Minns. Welcome, Raquel.
Thank you so much, Akriba, for having me.
Yeah, the last time I saw you was at the Dreamboard Party 2019.
2019, could you believe that?
I'm telling you, what's been going on since then?
So everything has been going on. I think, to be honest with you, I think my life it's almost as if I'm on a parachute now, and God is just allowing me to float so high and to soar so high. And I think it's all a matter of just submitting to purpose. And that's what I've been called to do. That's what I'm doing what I've been born to do. Wow. And since then, since 2019, I don't know if this is the same Raquel you've seen then.
I'm sure
to be honest.
Be
real honest.
I believe you, and that's why this catch-up is like so necessary. So Raquel, just for the viewers, because I know Raquel,
okay,
just tell them a little bit about who's Raquel.
So Raquel Minns.
Yes.
I'm Raquel Minns, a wife of 10 years. March will be 11 years. I have one son. He's 8 years of age. He's looking for a sibling. Woo! So God answer his prayers real soon, hopefully.
Amen.
But other than that, I'm Raquel Minns, and I think I'm just a woman of purpose, passionately pursuing what God has called me to. I've always been that go-to girl, that strong friend, that person that's always one to give the advice. And since, like we said, going back to 2019, I've been that person that God has allowed me. I asked God, what is it that I can do? Like, I know what I've been born to do. I know what my purpose is, but how can I maximize this or put this on a bigger scale? And there came in the brand for which I started during the pandemic, actually. And it's called Aim Her, a brand to affirm, inspire, and motivate women to be all of who God has called them to be and fulfill purpose. And through Aim Her, God has just been blossoming so many things, birthing so many gifts. There came a book, there came a brand, there came t-shirts, there came just different things just as I began to just ask him to do it. Yes. And with my yes, he just continues to finish the rest.
Oh my God. That is, and I want to jump right in it, Raquel, because that is so much and it's so good. So during the pandemic, a lot of people gave up. Yes. A lot of people lost hope. How were you did you take advantage of it, or did the pandemic weaken your ideas, your dreams, your faith in God? How did you marvel through the pandemic?
While the world stopped and the economy pretty much came crashing down, God put me in a position where I was able to recalibrate, reset, and refuel for something that was beyond me. Yes. Like, I didn't know what he was preparing me for. However, I was in a space where I was able to reset my life. And during the pandemic, there was everything was on Facebook. Everybody was doing lives. Every other minute, people was jumping on from live to live to live because you just had nothing else to do. So social media was the thing. If it wasn't an IG live, it was a Facebook live.
Oh my God.
However, there was a particular live that I was religiously on I think she did every Thursday. And not sure if you know, but Dr. Melissa Hall.
The name sounds familiar.
Okay, she started this Facebook Live called Resetting Your Personal Economy. So while the world economy was crashing down, she started these lives called Resetting Your Personal Economy. Wow. Every Thursday I would be on this live. Every time she was on, I was on. And the lives just kept coming. She had different guests, different times, and I would take notes. And I was like, okay, God, okay, I'm loving this.
Yes.
I'm finding myself in a different space. I'm finding who I am in a different way.
Yes.
And then at the end of it, she initiated a master class, which I enrolled in. That was a paid class, which I enrolled in. And what she did was she gave you a whole, a roadmap of how to reset your personal economy. That's when my conversation with God began. Okay, God, I know what I've been called to. I've been doing this pretty much all my life. I've been dancing all my life. In church all my life.
Yes.
I knew what I was called to do. But now I just wanted something, not to say to be seen, because that was never Raquel. I don't mind being the background girl. But just how to maximize it so that more persons are impacted as opposed to
Yes.
just seeing me and be like, oh, I like her. That was it. I don't care to be liked, to
That's
be
good.
honest, right?
Yes.
And from the master class, she said there was an instruction at the end of it. And she said to really go to God. Well, not really. She didn't say go to God. But her thing was to really tap into you. Find God and tap into you and find where you can reset your life to set it on a stage for God to do what he needs to do. Anyway, I took to prayer and I was like, okay, God, what is it that you would have me to do? And I kid you not, there was after the master class, you were given a free session with her, right? And you would call her to book the session and she would just help you navigate different things. And when I came on the call with her and I told her all that God had downloaded to me, she was like, well, you don't even need me anymore because you already heard everything. And I was like, yes, I did, because I remember it was August 8th, 2020, 8/8.
What a good number.
8/8.
Yes.
It was like 6:30 in the morning. I was talking to God already about this, and I heard the letters MIA, and I was like, what is my purpose? And I know I affirm, I know I inspire women, I know I motivate.
Yes.
And those letters just stood out, but I was like, okay, that don't make no sense.
Right.
MIA. Anyway, Holy Spirit said, this was 6:30, 8:08, transpose the letters. And I did just that, and it became AIM. And it was like, okay, AIM her.
I love it.
So affirm, inspire, motivate. And from then, I
Yes.
just wrote. So I have a journal, everything about AIM, the vision, the purpose, everything. So all of this was in 2020, and I just started to write. Thereafter, weeks later, I started to do affirmations, and I was just writing them in my journal, and it became a book. And I was like, okay, God, what is this? So from the masterclass with Dr. Melissa Hall to the Resetting Your Personal Economy Facebook Lives, I was just thrust into a whole new world of who Raquel is and who God wanted Raquel to be.
Yes.
So with that, the book came. I released the book. This was in 2021, actually, in June 2021. And to be honest with you, it was almost as if God was saying, that's all I was waiting for.
Wow.
To be honest, weeks, let's say the book was released on Saturday. By 2 weeks later, I was almost on at least about 8 lives for just persons, just to motivate, just encourage your women, just encourage. And I was like, okay, God, I was doing this all my life, but it was just something about giving God that extra yes that opened the door to so many other things.
Oh my God, Raquel, and in Affirm Her, writing this during the time that you were receiving all the downloads is a 31-day book of affirmations.
Yes.
Like, at no time did you have writer's block or anything?
And that, to be honest, I'm so happy you asked that, because at no point in this book, there was maybe 1 or 2, but my writing was such a flow. That's where I knew it was. I knew it was God, to be honest with you. There were days when I would say, okay, God, I'll do three affirmations today, and I'll end up writing 5. And so this book pretty much took me maybe about 2 months to write. In full, 2 months.
Wow.
And I was just write. Some days I would just go and just write. And that's how I know. And then thereafter, even earlier this year, I said, okay, God, I did the Affirm Her for women. I wanted to do one for little girls, Affirm Her for girls. And I already have the layout, the outline of all of the chapters, but it wouldn't flow like this one. I was like, okay, God, it's just not the time for that.
Right.
I'm not going to force something when I know this one was not forced at all.
Yes.
This one was total divine inspiration. And that's when I realized, you know what? I'm not going to force what's not going to work. When God is ready,
He
ripe
will
and
do
ready,
it.
He will,
Yes,
and the
yes.
book will be produced.
Yes.
So I moved on to something else. I did something else. And then there came the journal. So
Yes.
I'm not going to hold off on a vision that I have, because it's not for me. When God materializes it and maximizes it, I know it's all Him.
Yes.
And
I asked, not to cut you off again, I asked because to write 31 days of declarations or affirmations, that's a lot. Like, and like you say, that's when when you could just sit down and you could just write and not be like, okay, no, I can't do this.
Yep.
You just flow because He's downloading, and as
Yes,
He's
ma'am.
downloading, you're capturing everything to put in this book.
And just last week, actually no, 2 weeks ago, I'm still getting praise reports about the book, and that's confirming to me, God, this was only you. There was a lady that came to me. She was like, Raquel, I could not wait to see you, to tell you. She does the prison ministry for her church, and they're using my book in the prison, in Her Majesty's prison.
Look at that.
The affirmations for the women.
Look at that.
She was just going on about the women, and I was like, God, like, I cannot take the credit for it.
No. But Raquel, I'm feeling something and I got to say it. So the girls' book didn't come out. But
No.
how about this is in Her Majesty's prison.
Yeah.
So the girls' book is going to be in the girls' school.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Okay,
Oh,
I got
my
it.
God.
We got
See,
it.
we got to do this.
We
I
gotta
mean,
do
you
it.
got to do this. And I mean, I know that he's going to give it to you because it's going to become a need.
Yes.
Because this is going to change the lives of so many women in that prison whose mind is in prison.
Is in prison.
Oh, my God. Who feels like, affirming what? I'm a criminal. I'm a
Okay.
prisoner. But you can still be.
When you are beyond your state, your circumstances don't dictate who you are.
Yes. Raquel, this is powerful. So just a little bit about Affirm Her Deck. I keep saying declarations, but Holy Ghost,
Well,
no,
that's
it's
what
done.
it is.
It's
That's what it
affirmations,
is.
declarations. Just share a little bit about what's inside. What could we find inside of this book?
So, for me, as well, anyone who would know, an affirmation are those positive things that we would tend to tell ourselves, or what we need to tell ourselves, right? And the thing is, there is so much what I've come to realize is your words create your world.
Oh,
You continue to
yes.
speak negative, you will continue to see negative. And I know I've read a book as a child, one of Cindy Trim's book, and she kept saying, you always say, when it ain't one thing, it's the next. Okay, because you keep saying that. Next week could
Yes.
be. We know that's life, but the fact that you are rehearsing this so much, you call it forth on you. You know
Right
what I mean?
away.
So what I found was, my world is going to be created by the words that I speak.
Amen.
Until I see the manifestation of
Yes.
it, I'm going to speak those things that I want. The Bible does say,
Speak
those things that be not as though they were.
That's
So
it.
for me, this is where my affirmations came in. And I just started to write just male words, like what we would think is male words. I'm resilient. I'm strong. I am unapologetic. Two of my favorite are in the book. I am unapologetically me, and I am not for everyone. And for women to stand in that space of understanding that you were not called to the masses. God didn't
Yes.
ask you to save the world.
That's right.
That's what he sent Jesus for.
That's right.
That's what he sent him for. He didn't call you to be Jesus Jr. He didn't do that. He just wanted you to come out, to be fishers of men. Those who came in on your boat, caught the bait and came in, those are your tribe.
Wow.
You're not meant to save the ocean. You're called to save that when, like when they were in the Bible and they cast a net on one side of it, God could determine who jump in your net from those that are not meant to.
And that's so powerful because I've been saying for this entire year, I just kept saying, it's not about fitting in. It's
Nope.
about standing out. Because
Standing
there's something
out.
about each of us that God only gave us.
Why would I want to be a creeper?
That's all I'm saying.
Why would I want to be a creeper?
That's all I'm saying. And it's no competition because you're out here fulfilling purpose. Your purpose is different from mine, but each of us are going to touch who needs to be touched.
Who needs to be
And
touched.
that's what's important, just being fulfilled. Raquel, I want to talk about, and the journal is so good because I guess when we read Affirm Her, we can make our personal notes.
Yes, ma'am.
That what we got from this book. Well, I just want to say, Raquel, I'm going to be purchasing these books from you, so you're not
They
taking...
actually were yours on the way here. So
To
no
God
worries.
be the glory. Thank you. Thank you to all my viewers. She's going to talk about that later for y'all, but these are mine. So I want to talk about you. You're in dance ministry. You've been pouring into so many lives, and we were talking earlier about that. How do you fill up? I need you to share this. All of your days you've been pouring in, pouring out. How does Raquel fill up?
Okay. So backtrack. As a child, I've always been the strong friend. Always. Not that I was, I knew it all or I had better things. No, God just graced me to be that strong friend. And I knew how a lot of persons would come for advice or whatever it was. I was just always that person. I didn't have the issue, but somehow, somewhere, God gave me the grace to be able to help someone else through a situation, which I did. I always did. And with that, you know how there's a meme that says, check on your strong friends?
Yes.
I always had friends, and I always was the mentor. I had persons that I looked up to, but in terms of, let's just say, my set or someone where I could just let my hair down, I had best friends, and we shared, but they still too, I was still there, the strongest shoulder in the bunch, right? Not that I had a problem with it. But for me, I found that when life just took on a different spin, because of course I got married, I had a child, and life just be lifing.
Yes.
It does what life's supposed to do, go on. And with that, I found that navigating life's issues, there wasn't always someone that I can bounce something off of. Or there wasn't always someone that I could go, what do you think? I mean, I could have found many persons, yes, but to be that friend that I was to everyone else, I really didn't have that. And not that I thought it was a lack.
Right.
I really didn't think it was a lack. God just graced me differently, and don't boast in that, but I'm grateful for that. So for me, it was a matter of just fulfilling purpose that filled and fueled me whenever I was in need. Any form of lack, any form of weakness, any form of strength that I didn't seem to find was filled and fueled fulfilling my purpose. To be honest with you, to be able to just speak to someone and encourage them and watch them bounce out of a situation, that was my strength. That was my strength, was finding them. That's like you go into a therapist and the therapist start to see the work that he's poured into now come to fruition, because everything takes work.
Yes.
I could come to you, I could give you the best advice, but if you don't put in the work, if you don't do the things that the therapist has told you to do, even a doctor, you go home, if you don't take the medicine, how will you be well?
You're right.
So for me to now, or like a teacher, if I know that my child is struggling in a certain area, I have a student that's struggling in a certain area, if I see them putting in the work and I be like, oh, this student went from an E to an A, that work fulfills that teacher.
Yes.
My pouring into you, my extra classes, they weren't in vain. So for me, that was the same for me in terms of fulfilling purpose and being fueled by my purpose. I realized that my work, my labor, my tears, my crying were never in vain. Most of the friends or the young girls, I was in youth ministry also, most of the young girls would look up to me and I was like, yo, call me whatever time, whatever, it doesn't matter. And I pour and I pour and I pour. And when I see you are actually taking the advice, whether it was far-fetched or not, that was my fuel. Because I realized I've snatched someone from a ditch. I've snatched someone from falling where they thought they may not have been able to get up.
Yes.
So to be honest with you, where I was the strong friend, my knees was my strength.
Yes.
Because that's where I found my strength. So I got to my knees, I prayed, and that was my fuel to keep going, to realize that, hey, my mom always told me, if you fell, you are like a domino. You fall, Raquel, and so many things are falling because you fell. Yes. So that was always, I mean, some parents might be, boy, that was hard to say something like that, but it kept me on the straight and narrow, and for that, it's keeping so many others.
Yes.
So with Aim Her then came with the logo being one of a target and a dancer being on a target. So I'm aiming women to be and to do what they've really been called to do.
Yes. I have a question, Raquel, or you can elaborate on this. I did get an occasion to read a post that you had posted. I don't know if it was recent or long time ago, because I didn't look at all of that, but I captured one thing. You were in the dance ministry, I think, the dance leader.
Yes.
And you said that people come and people go. Yes. And it was like you were empowering dancers in particular. What the kingdom needs, the worship people, the people come and people go. Talk about that, but you stayed.
I did.
And some days it wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy.
Just a little bit on that before we wrap up.
So I've been dancing from the age of 6. And I won't say how old I am now, but
that's
I'm far
okay.
from 6.
That's okay.
But I've been dancing from the age of 6. Something that I love doing. Just giving that ministry part of me. I could dance my sleep. Any part of me, wake me up any hour of the day, and I'm ready to dance.
Wow.
And since the age of 6, it started with a friend and I. So we became the dance leaders. She lives in the States now. Still best friends, but she lives in the States now. So I was always the leader therein, even as we grew up from 6, 8, because our mom led it, and then 8, 9, 10, we were both the leaders. So for me then, I was the one, I went to College of the Bahamas. I didn't go off to school. Actually, I didn't want to. I had some acceptance letters, but I don't know. I just never left home. Therein, I have watched girls come. I've watched girls dance for years. Then they go off to school. And after they go off to school, they come back, I don't want to dance anymore. Or they leave the church. Or they're not even saved anymore, maybe. And then just everyone just go their different ways. So I was always the one who had to be the pillar. Whether it was me by myself. So the dance team came from 12, 9, 8, back to 10.
Yes.
Then it went to 5, then it went to 3, then it went to 2, then it went to 1, and it went to 1, and it went to 1. Jeez. And I'm still going. And up to today, I am still going. It's 2 of us. One just came back from school actually last week, so she's dancing this week. But I'm still the staple. Yes. And I told I made a statement the other day. I said, boy, I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this knees in as flexible as they always was. But I do know that's still where I'm called. Yes. So until God say, okay, that's enough, then, but other than that, if I have to do it by myself, that's where I've been called, because this is not Raquel's ministry. That's right. This is something that I do for him. And he then fuels the strength that I need.
Yes.
He then fixes and fuels and even sends those that need to be here. And I'm not moved when I have to do it by myself. I know that's where I'm called, and I'm willing to serve purpose.
And it just fits right. It's so girly, girl, because it fits right in with everything that you're doing. And that's so, and you had a recent, I tell you, I browsed it. You had a recent little girls camp thing.
Yes.
How did that go?
So another thing too with purpose, through the aim where I've been hosting, I'm finding myself just hosting a lot of events. And last year, it started last year with National Daughters Day. I call all of my goddaughters, even little girls who tell me I'm their godmother. And we just did a photo shoot with little girls.
Wow.
Then I had another event called I'm Becoming Her for little girls.
Yes.
I was early this year. Awesome experience. Then within the brand, I have a shirt that's called Grace to Be Her.
Yes.
So I did a Grace to Be Her event in August. That was very good. I had all of the girls from the Ranfully home were there. I had some sponsors sponsor them. Yeah, and so I'm finding that about the last event that I just had was a Dream Bigger event. That was for women. It was like a dream board party, but I wanted to move beyond. I called it more than a board. It's bigger than a board. So I did that. That was for women. So everybody was asking, this for women now? This for women or this for? So that's what they have to say now. But I really love little girls.
Wow.
I've always been the girl and the teens. So a lot of my events are tailored towards building them, because there's a princess in them that's going to rise up and need to be affirmed as well. And if I've come to realize that if we affirm them from 2, 3, 4, 5, what is to say when they reach 14, 16?
So you got to get it in now.
We got to start now.
Yes.
So we're not going to wait until they're 18 and society would say wayward or this. No. We're going to tell you who you are at 2.
Yes.
We're going to tell you who you are at 6.
That's right.
So that when you reach 21, you could tell someone, no, that's not me.
And ain't no one can change that.
And no one can tell me who I am, because I know
who I am.
I've told myself this for a while now, so I know who I am, and I'm able to tell you that's not you either.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So there's been a lot of events, and the thing is, because it's just me, and this is why I know, again, it's really, 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 really purpose, because I'm not tired doing it.
That's what I'm saying.
I do it by myself.
Yes.
And I don't even watch other female groups or I don't look for inspiration. My inspiration is totally just strictly God.
Yes.
And whatever he says, sometimes I would have an idea, and within a week, I have to execute. And I'm like, okay, God, you gonna finance the vision, because you giving me this. And I'm like, okay. And then sometimes, some things I'll be to my desk at work, to be honest, and I'll sit and I'll write 10 minutes, and I have an entire program of something. Okay, who I'm going to call, who I'm going to this, who I'm going to do, and I know, that's when I know. So I'm not moved at all or I'm not even afraid of where God is taking me. I'm just, like I told someone, I just have to keep my laces tied, because
always be ready.
Always be ready, because when it's that time for him to say, you know what, run, I can't just be getting ready.
That's what I'm saying.
If I stay ready, I ain't got to get ready.
My point.
So that's the space that I'm in. So since 2019, it's just been it's been a roller coaster, but the roller coaster is moving in a good direction.
I love
and
it.
I'm totally here for the ride.
I love it. I love it, Raquel. And what I love the most is you're going to be such an amazing mother to your own princess. Like, that's what's
Yes.
going to happen because you're doing it to other little girls. So my little friend is going to get his little sister, and she's going to be beautiful. And, you know, that's what kids do. Like, my daughters, they became, like, my pillars. And you know, it's so good, especially when you're dealing with women and
Yes.
when you're dealing with little girls. Oh, it's, anyway,
Fulfilling.
fulfilling. And you never sleep. I don't sleep.
No.
I'm back on the, I don't sleep. I'm running all night,
Yep.
but I need to get some rest. But anyway, so I want you to take it away from me, Raquel. I want you to close us out and share with the viewers anything that's laid on your heart to share tonight. A word of encouragement, motivation, anything that you're led to share. Take it away.
So, in closing to all of your viewers, what I want to tell each of you, whether male or female, is not to sell yourself short for what you think you should be worth. God has put his own stamp of approval on you. He doesn't need you to, like we spoke earlier, to blend in to be anything that he's not called you to be. If he wanted you to blend, he would have made you camouflage or a chameleon, whatever, but he made you different, special, unique. Why would he give you a light to hold and want you to put it under a bushel?
So good.
You're meant to shine. A light is meant to shine. What we do is we cave in and we shrink under what we think or what we see, especially in a social media driven world. The world forces us to be who we're not called to be. The world forces us to act the way we're not supposed to act. The world forces us to think we need what we do not need. Everything that you need is wrapped, tied, tangled in you. It's up to you to find purpose, to untie those knots, unravel those things that you've been called to do and fulfill it. I mean, God is not asking you for perfection. All he wants is a yes.
Yes.
And everything else behind that yes, give it to him. I said, God, you give me this vision. You know, this wasn't something that I dreamt up and I conjured up to be who I've not been called to be. You gave me the vision. So with my yes, God, I'm asking you to bring the provision. I'm asking you to bring the support. I'm asking you to bring the financial resources. I'm asking you to do what only you can do best. So for me, Raquel, I'm not trying to be anybody else but Raquel. Because when I get to the good Lord, he's not going to say, what did they do? He's going to say, what did you do?
Yes.
And he's given me an assignment, and he's also given you an assignment. There's no big me. There's no little you. We're all on the same playing field. We all have different roles, and we're playing one game. And it's to strike goal. Go for goal.
My God. Oh, my God. Raquel. Whew. Like, I'm filled. I'm affirmed tonight. And God bless you. I thank you for that. That was so powerful. How can the viewers, because I know after this, people are going to want to find you, Raquel. I know that you have a blog as well, so I want all of that information. How would they be able to connect with you socially?
So on social media, you can find me on Facebook, Raquel Minns. On IG is Kel Minns or aimher, a.i.m.her. And then I do also, my website is raquelminns.com. I've not been blogging like I should have been, but thanks, Akriba, for pointing that out because I need to get back. But yes. So any one of those social media handles, you're able to find me. The book is on Amazon. I do have copies as well. So wherever you need to be affirmed, but I also want you to learn the art of affirming yourself.
Yes.
First, I do also promote, especially for women, to loving her first. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And it is on you to fill yourself first. So that persons don't sip from your cup. They sip from your saucer because you'll always be filled.
My God, here ends the scripture reading. I enjoyed tonight's session so much, Raquel. Thank you once again for joining me. It is my prayer that you who are watching tonight or whenever you watch this show, that you were blessed and that you were affirmed. And note that you can connect with Raquel because she's going. So you need to go with her as she's affirming herself and affirming you along the journey. Even your little princesses, this is for everyone. This is for all of us, all right? And if God began it, he will not only complete it, but he will perfect it. So I thank God for you tonight, Raquel. I wish nothing but the best and success to this ministry. Yes. I know that it's just the beginning and elevation for you in 2023 and the years to come. So God bless you. God keep you. May his face always shine upon you and give you peace. Thank you. God bless you.
Good.
It is our prayer that you are blessed by this episode. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to receive notifications of new uploads. God bless.
Hi, I'm Raquel Minns, and I have just been on the set of Faith Talk. OMG, so refreshing. I am so honored. I was so honored to be sitting with a people like born here, understanding the purpose of just how to build my faith and how my faith has been built. And I've been on the set to speak about my book, Affirm Her, helping women to understand the power in affirmations and understanding also the power in fulfilling purpose. We've not been placed here just to exist, but we've been placed here to be change agents. And that's what I've been called to do. That's what you've been called to do. So for the viewers listening, thank you so much. For those listening, those watching, share it, like it, subscribe to it, and let's all be about this faith talk.
Do you have a life story to share that you know only God could have brought you out? One that can change someone's life for the better. Become a guest on Faith Talk by emailing faithtalklive7@gmail.com or send a direct message on Instagram at faith_talk_. We look forward to hearing from you.